going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you guys know, if you've been watching my channel for a while, you guys know that I absolutely love Xdefiant to death. I can't get enough of this game. I'm honestly obsessed. It's getting pretty bad. And even though I am still a little bit in the honeymoon phase, I've been loving this game since the very first beta dropped, And I was one of the only people, well, not one of the only people. There was a lot of other content creators out there who were still hyping it up. But while everybody was getting devastated and talking crap about this game being postponed, I was still here tugging along, saying, don't worry, Xdefiant's going to be fine. It's still a fun game. They're getting it out. I have really been going through the trenches with this title. So you guys know I love Xdefiant. But even with all that love, you know that there has to be some negatives for this game. There's nothing out there ever that could be that perfect. It's impossible. So yes, there are some negatives, and today I'm going to discuss one of the things that is holding Xdefiant back the absolute most. Now, yes, this is devastating for this game. In my personal opinion, what I'm about to go ahead and discuss is absolutely devastating for Xdefiant. But if I'm going to be real with you guys, again, we're talking about the Xdefiant team here. Mark Rubin has been absolutely goated through every step, every, part of this process here with Xdefiant. He has been open, tons of communication. I am not worried, not even in the slightest, that they aren't going to address and work on this as fast as possible. I won't even be shocked if they go ahead and address this a little bit within the next update. So, again, even though it is kind of devastating, I think we'll see some good positive changes in the future. But, ladies and gentlemen, before we go ahead and dive deep, if you guys are interested in more content just like this, don't forget to go ahead and subscribe and hit that bell. We post daily here at 8 in the morning Eastern Time. Right now, mostly Xdefiant, but, I do dabble in Modern Warfare 3 from time to time. I'm a COD player. I love talking about COD, but, man, Xdefiant has really been taking up all of my time. So, if you want to see content like that, subscribe and hit that bell. And if you guys are interested in any of my live streams, I'm going to be live on Monday. Sundays, I don't stream, but Monday, I will be back. We go live around 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern Time over on Twitch, and we also host open lobby. So if you guys are interested in hopping in my squad on Xdefiant, like I said, tune into the stream, say hello, you can add me up, and if you see an open spot, you can hop right on in. Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, trust me, I know there's a lot of other things wrong as well with Xdefiant. The hit detection, the net code. Some people are saying the weapon balancing is a little iffy. There's definitely some tweaks that need to be done to this overall experience that should be prioritized. Net code and hit detection obviously being priority number one. That needs to be polished off before anything else in this game, literally, or people are probably just going to leave the experience, and we don't want that. We want people to actually hop in and get a good overall vibe from the weapon mechanics right out the gate instead of having to wait for that. So I understand, but I still think this shines over pretty much everything, and that is the operators, the specialists, the ultimates, whatever you want to call them in this game, the factions, whatever. I feel like they are not properly balanced, and it's not in the way that you guys are thinking. Now, yes, I do agree that some of these factions, like Echelon, need some tweaks to balance it out for the overall game, right? And maybe some of the other factions as well could be tweaked here and there. But overall, I do like them. I think that they're fun, and their counterplay is phenomenal. But my biggest problem right now is when it comes down to how many people can pick one of these factions in every single game. You see, in other titles where you have, other heroes or, factions or people that you could play as, they cap them, right? They cap it so it can't become too overwhelming. But in Xdefiant, that's not the case. You can literally have a whole team play as, the Echelon and have the intel suit and scan literally the whole map. Now, if they're all playing solo, they're probably not going to synchronize it. But imagine going against a full 6-man party who are in a voice chat, talking to each other, telling each other when to activate it. And they all, these things are toxic. Or a full team of phantoms. I've versed a 6-stack like this before, and again, it's a nightmare because they're all at 120 HP. Honestly, I was practically forced to pull out heavier weaponry because, it's just too much to handle. Whereas if it's 1 or 2 phantoms, I can still rock my SMGs and regular ARs. Yeah, they're harder to kill because they have 120 HP, but it's not impossible, right? But when it's 6 of them, all stacking, all using the barriers, it just becomes an absolute just nightmare. It's not really engaging. It's not really fun, and they can be beat. They can, but I think the game shines the most when you actually have variety in the operators that you are choosing. When you have meds, when you have intel, when you have, a more aggressive aggro, player like the cleaners, when you have a, barrier style person like the Phantom, it's fun when it's spread across the board and you have these people lining up and you're all synchronizing your abilities to go ahead and try to fight the other team while you're also trying to use your abilities as counterplay to what the other team is bringing to the table. That is where the fun is, not sitting here stacking a bunch of Molotovs as cleaners or a bunch of intel suits as echelons or a bunch of barriers as, the Phantom, none of that nonsense. That's not really where the fun comes from in this game, but it could be done. It's allowed. And I don't think that should be a thing. And it's rough because I understand there's challenges, right? There's challenges for some of these factions. And if you're playing the game, it might be a bit hard for you to, go in with a team of friends. They might not want to give up one of the factions. Or if you're playing solo and someone beats you to it and, you can't get those challenges done to get, what you need for that faction, I can understand where it can be a bit tedious. But I think that is not really anything that can outweigh the downside of having a full team stacking as a specific faction, Eventually, you will find lobbies where you can pick that faction and do your challenges. And hopping into solo, I guarantee you, playing the solo playlist, you'll be able to pick those factions, right? And if your friends aren't willing to give you that faction for a little bit, I don't know. You might have to find some better homies. That'll help you out a bit there. I don't think that is worthy of, overshadowing the downside of having a full team stacking. Right? I think that it needs to be balanced out in that way. Even bouncing back to Call of Duty games like, Black Ops 3 or Black Ops 4, it was still capped to 1 to 2 of each of these specialists on your team. And it's done for a reason because it becomes too overwhelming when you have a bunch of people running the same exact thing. But like I said, I think that's the biggest problem. Just people being able to stack certain abilities. And realistically, yeah, there are some things that need to be tweaked. I say maybe the Molotov needs a little bit of a range reduction. I feel like as playing as cleaners, I love the Molotov. I absolutely love it. As a domination lover, it's phenomenal because all you got to do is just fling yourself on B and slap that sucker down and you'll get a lot of kills. But like I said, it's a little too easy. I think the radius should be reduced to make it be a ability where you really gotta think before you put yourself out there. And, maybe you have to engage with a few enemies before you can actually get up to a good point to slam down the Molotov. You know what I'm saying? Just to balance it out a bit, because right now I could just charge out there not giving a crap in the world and just chuck it down and get like a triple kill. It's insane. The meds, I feel like the med ult is still a little wild because it's like a guaranteed flag pickup. Every single time I see someone with a med ult, I just kind of back up. Unless I personally have an ult that can counter it, which a lot of ults can counter it. That's the best part about it. A lot of ults counter that, but it's still pretty crazy, especially when you have to go gun on gun with them. Like I said, I back up and I don't even bother. I feel like once you have movement down and you could avoid people, you could just literally slap it in the middle of nowhere. And if you could just strafe left and right while B-hopping, you'll just constantly regen back up to 200 and you can engage with another enemy. I like it. It's fun. It's fun. I get the idea of it, but I think a slight reduction could be a bit more handy to make it take some more skill to use instead of just having it, be an absolute freebie. The Phantom, I think the Phantom is honestly, I think that class is balanced out the best, Realistically, I don't think the abilities are shabby. They're easy to take down. It's easy, to shut down the barrier and stuff of that sort. You just shoot it. If your whole team shoots at it, it goes away in 5 seconds, not even like less than a second. And then if you, have the hacking ability from DedSec, you can actually go ahead and take it from them. So that's good. At first, I really despised the spider bot as well from DedSec, but I hear that it's really easy to take out when it works properly. I just haven't been able to test it because I never get the bot to work properly on me. Every time it jumps on me, it just basically glitches out on the ground. So I never get a chance to actually, punch it before it gets to me. I still think an easier system, like how it was in Black Ops 3 with, what was the character again? The Tempest or whatever? You remember that shock drone? They gave you a very visible, clear command to, click a button once it gets you, and if you can time it out perfectly, you just rip it off and you move on with your day. I like that way more. I really do. I think that's the perfect system, and I don't know. I think that should be incorporated for the spider bot, but DedSec I think is pretty decently balanced, Echelon, obviously the intel suit needs a little bit of a reduction. I don't know what to do for this one because I feel like the radius isn't that huge realistically. You kind of got to stick with your squad and pick and choose what lane you want to, use it for. But the problem lies is, like I said, when people can stack with them and you have a full 6 stack sitting here with echelons and you can cover the whole map. That's the biggest issue here. I don't know if they should really reduce it, but I think they should also make it so he can only see individuals through walls and the rest of the team has it like, an advanced UAV where you can see the red dots on the minimap. It doesn't even have to be an advanced. It doesn't have to be any arrows whatsoever. Just put a red dot on the minimap so we can see where the enemy is at every single scan, and have the echelon character be the one that can see through walls and, go ahead and be a bit more aggressive. It just doesn't make sense that, he sees through the walls and he can be aggressive, or she can be aggressive, and then obviously the rest of the team can follow right up because they see the same exact thing. I don't know. I think that should be balanced out a bit. But overall, like I said, I don't think they need to be adjusted that much. I just believe that people need to be capped at how many they can have. Okay, that's literally it. 1 to 2, right? One character might be able to be picked twice, but after that, everybody else has to pick a different character. I think that will be phenomenal, and it will stop the spam that we see all the time when it comes to certain characters within this game. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, go ahead. Leave your opinions down below in the comment section. You guys know I love reading them all. I try to get back to as many as I can about this game. You guys know I am just vibing out with Xdefiant. So it's been a blast seeing a lot of you guys enjoy it as well. But as always, if you guys enjoyed today's video, leave a like. If you hate it, leave a dislike. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. We post daily here at 8 in the morning Eastern time. And like I said earlier, if you guys want to catch my live stream, I will be back on Monday on Twitch. And that will go live around like 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern time. But as always, thank you for tuning in. And I'll see you all on the next one. Peace out.